The Bengals have plenty of big decisions to make with their roster, but one player's future feels very much up in the air to me, and in this video, I'll explain why his case is by far the most perplexing. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A-Z Sports Cincinnati here, and the Bengals have a lot of big decisions that they would like to make in the coming months. You're talking about extensions for Jamar Chase and Trey Hendrickson. You're talking about a brand new contract for T. Higgins, signing multiple starters at guard, pass rush, or whatever the case may be in free agency. It's going to require a lot of salary cap space. It's going to require a lot of cash on hand. And the best way for them to gain as much as possible is to let go of some of the contracts that they already have on the books. Now, I haven't really talked about cap casualties on this channel just yet because, again, we're not quite at that part of the offseason, and the Bengals are typically pretty patient when it comes to these decisions. Like, it's not like at the onset of free agency, the Bengals just released the players that they're likely to release. Typically, they'll sign guys in free agency to replace them beforehand and then let them go and then just gain the cap space back after the fact. But these moves will happen. The Bengals are no longer a team that always honors the life of the contract. They'll make moves to get rid of guys typically on the last year of the deals when they're just not up to snuff anymore. And I think everyone knows the three most likely notable cap casualties at this point. You're talking about Sheldon Rankins, Alex Kappa, Sam Hubbard. Nothing groundbreaking there, just three veterans who are just not worth the deals that they're on right now. There are definitely cases to be made for both Zach Moss and Geno Stone, and I wouldn't be that surprised if the Bengals let go of both of those guys, but those decisions wouldn't gain the Bengals that much cap space compared to the other three that I just mentioned. That really only leaves us with one other name that I've seen people talk about with this, and I'm just not sure where to put him right now, and it's linebacker Jermaine Pratt. Because when it comes to Pratt, there are just a lot of things that we have to balance here. For one, he has been making a decent amount of money. His salary is around $5 to $6 million. His cap hit is going to be in that $8 million range, so it's definitely not nothing for someone that you expect to be a starter on this team. And I definitely see the argument to cut him because, let's be honest, athletically, he is not the same player that he was a couple years ago. He has regressed massively from the player that he was when he got that contract in the first place. And for a defense that should be getting faster, quicker, stronger at all three levels, I definitely see why Pratt would be on the outside looking in. The reason why I'm hesitant, though, to group him with the likes of Rankins and Hubbard and all those other guys is because of who the Bengals just hired as defensive coordinator. Because when Al Golden was last year as the linebackers coach in 2021, that was the first year that Jermaine Pratt looked like a decent starter. Now, as part of that, the fact that Pratt was in his athletic prime, he was a few years younger than he was now, so he was a lot more spry and able to make a lot of great plays. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. But I think there's something to be said about linebacker play in general being better on this team from 2020 to 2021 when Al Golden was coaching that unit. And I think if the Bengals' evaluation on Pratt is that he isn't as physically cooked as we all think that he is, then they would still see value in him helping lead a defense that is now being coordinated by his old position coach. But of course, the other variable here at play is that Al Golden never helped draft or scout Jermaine Pratt. You know, Pratt was here a year before Golden came here, so it's not like Golden had much of a choice but to play with their third-round pick from the year prior. And not that this should have a major impact on the process, but they're already planning to release Sam Hubbard, who is responsible for one of the greatest postseason plays in team history. Jermaine Pratt is also responsible for a pretty big one himself when he got the game-winning interception to win the Bengals' first playoff game in 31 years. For as much as I think fan opinion is soured on Pratt, I think there's still a place that he holds in a lot of people's hearts for what he's done here as a starter, and I think it would be a big move to move on from him now. Again, there's a lot to balance here. Like, this team is already going to be pretty damn aggressive in rebuilding most of the defensive line. I don't know how aggressive they're going to be in trying to find a new linebacker, even if they probably should in the first place. But that is the fun of the offseason, and we're going to cover all angles of it right here on A-Z Sports Cincinnati.